Cheryl Reifer. I'm a registered dietitian, and I'm the Director of Scientific Affairs for Coro Club in North America. If you have any problems hearing me during the talk or issues, I think there's a raise your hand button, or just type in the chat box. We have someone else helping to monitor those comments if you have any issues at all. But a little bit about me. I have my PhD from Texas Women's University in Health Studies. It's a great field for research, for health, for all of those things. And before that, I had my master's in education. So I've worked on curriculum development, developing programs, things like this. And of course, my key background as a registered dietitian gives that great nutrition background. And in that, I worked in healthcare and hospitals and clinics for every kind of health issue you can imagine, blood sugar control, heart issues, heart health or heart disease, and helping educate people, but also calculating diets and things like this. But love the field of research and supplements and looking at what ingredients can do for you in your health. I worked for an international agency that worked with many companies, including Fortune 500 companies that were doing research on products to see what health benefits they would bring and be able to make claims so people would know what the health benefits would be. So doing that, I got to travel around and do presentations with other key opinion leaders actually, and present at conferences or for even consumer audiences on health benefits. And I had my early start at looking at how to put products together, how ingredients could go together to formulate a great product. And worked with two other multi-level marketing companies, both in research, but also as a director of clinical research and scientific affairs as well. And in that, looking at formulations, looking at what technologies really make products come together and work well. So all that's very exciting. And so I'm very excited to be with Coro Club and in the role of scientific affairs here. And so I want to get started on the presentation. So give me just a moment and I will share my screen, and then you should be able to see both me and the presentation. Getting going here. You should see a slide that says Safrino and me. So Safrino is the product we'll be talking about today, but as a prelude to that, we're going to go into stress and all the reasons why we want to bring you a product that is so helpful for this issue. You know, there are surveys that we see at least 25% of people in the U.S. admit to having some source of stress. And I think in some cases people don't recognize that some of their issues and their emotional and you know, other issues come from how stressed they may be feeling. So let's just go through what that entails. There we go. Okay, so stress does affect the mind and the body. Okay, so what is stress? Let's start with that. Well, generally, when we feel the reaction of stress, it's because of an external cause or an internal cause, our perception of how it's affecting us, or something about how we're feeling. Let's say, for example, you're having an argument with a family member or a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and you tend to feel these emotions. And sometimes that is the adrenaline being released in your body that's you know, helping you cope with those feelings. If it happens over and over and over and you feel that stress, it does take a toll on your body. So that's what we would call negative stress. And when we have negative stress, we might lose sleep as well, because when we're worried about things and we wake up during the night, we have problems getting back to sleep. As a matter of fact, 1/3 of Americans, according to the Sleep Foundation, do have troubles with sleep issues, where they either think about things so they don't fall asleep right away, or they wake up during the night thinking about things, or they just don't have restful sleep, the deep sleep that we need for our brains to rest and fully function. So that's all the things that stress can do. But the positive stress is a good stress. Let's say there's a marriage in the family or some very happy occasion. Well, that's positive. But the negative stress will have us feeling tense, uneasy, worrying, losing sleep, as we said. So we want to see what we can do about that. Other things that cause stress, perhaps money worries, you know, just not being able to feel like you're on top of that, disagreements with family and coworkers. And if you're feeling stressed over finances, maybe that creates more disagreements, or your disagreements are causing issues as well. So all those things, having deadlines that are hard to reach, just feeling, feeling out of control with things going on in the world that you're not able to control, feeling overloaded with responsibilities, and sometimes even being sedentary can have us feeling more stressed because we're sitting thinking about things and we're not being active, which actually helps you feel better. So those are things to think about. So how widespread an issue is stress? Well, I'm going to talk to you about a survey that was completed by the American Psychological Association, and I called them to see if this was their most recent survey. They do all kinds of surveys on stress, other emotional issues and things, and they look at even things like by age, by ethnic group, but by gender I thought was really interesting to take a look. So how many women feel stressed? Would you believe about 28% of women and about 20% of men, at least per this survey. I think it's more actually. And physical and emotional stress, more women than men, 41%, 30% of men. So not quite a third of men feel that, or say that they feel physical and emotional stress. Work-related stress is high. 65% of women, that's almost 2/3, and 76% of men, that's more than 3/4, feel that that they have work-related stress. So again, something there is causing stress. Which again is when you're in business for yourself and you're your own boss, hopefully that takes away some of that stress and gives you a good stress as you see things progressing. But a lot of people reporting to bosses or deadlines or pressures from others, they feel that work-related stress. How important is it to manage stress? What do people think about that? Well, about 57% of women think it's very important, to manage stress, whereas only about a little bit more than a third, or 34% of men, think it's important to manage stress. But actually, it's pretty important to manage because it will take a toll on us physically and emotionally in different ways. Mentioned this a little bit earlier, but about adrenaline or that flushed feeling that you feel. Well, there's something called fight or flight response. If you're in a situation where you're not feeling safe, let's say, it could be any number of things. Let's say you're about to cross the street and all of a sudden a car comes and you realize your heart jumps and you jump out of the way really fast. That's just one example, but you feel that rush coming over you of kind of like an energy, and you're able to react very quickly. Well, that's your body releasing adrenaline because you have nerves, chemical messengers, and the adrenaline being released helps those nerves communicate to each other and tell you, boom, you got to react now. So it activates your nervous system and gives you that fast heartbeat and that rush of energy. And the only thing is, if you're in a constant state of stress, you're doing that constantly. That does play a role on you physically. You want that to be just in times where you really need it. You don't want that to be a constant state that your body is in, because that does take a toll on your health. It can cause anxiety, anxious feelings, and feelings of being very sad if you just always have that coming over you. There have been studies on that, how this affects that part of people's life with kind of a sadness or depression, if you will. So we don't want that constant rush. What is our solution here? We have a wonderful solution for this stress and our work-related stress and how to deal with this stress. I mean, we know that stress, some of us know, of course, if you go out and take a walk or do things that can alleviate your mood a little bit, raise it up, of course, that's going to help stress. Take a hot bubble bath, read a book, have some time to yourself, all those things. Some of us feel that our time is we don't take the time to pamper ourselves, so we don't have that time. But hopefully make time for you, of course. And part of making time for you is looking at what else can I do? Well, there's a wonderful product that has saffron in it that we've developed. But first, let me tell you about why we're using saffron. And a lot of you are familiar with saffron, of course. It's been around for ages, for 3,000 years, and it's very widely used in cooking, right? It's like Iranian stew is one dish that uses saffron. Paella is a common dish that uses saffron, and you see those pretty red threads in a jar that tend to cost like $10 for a little itty bitty jar, and it has this wonderful taste property, because that's one of the actually components that has an effect that helps, that has antioxidants in it and things like that in the saffron. But saffron's been used for 3,000 years. It's been around for Ayurvedic and Persian healing. It's been around in traditional Chinese medicine, Iranian folk medicine. It is the most expensive spice in the world still. It has been for as long as I can remember. I think vanilla bean is number 2, but quite a drop in price between vanilla bean and saffron. And what makes it so expensive? Think about fields full of flowers, full of saffron flowers, where you have to individually handpick because they're so delicate that each flower has to be handpicked. And you have to pick many, many flowers, 150,000, 220,000 flowers to make a kilogram or 2.2 pounds of the saffron spice. Each saffron flower has 3 red stigmas, those pretty, like you see the red threads in the jar of spice, those pretty 3 red strands is what gives you your health benefits. That they have to be handpicked, dried, and with care so they're not burned. So it's just very expensive. And Iranian saffron is one of the most common. I think 75 to 85% of saffron is Iranian saffron, and it's also very high quality, grown in very fertile soil, so it has a lot of health benefits. So the bioactive components, we're talking a little bit about antioxidants, and there is safranol, which is a volatile oil. It has the aroma component. I'm moving this around so I don't block. I don't know if it blocks in your view, but in my view, it's blocking some of the writing on the slide. So safranol, you have crocin, responsible for the color of saffron, gives it that beautiful red and purple colors. That's those wonderful carotenoids that give the antioxidant effect. And the picrocin helps you with the safranol. It's what they call a precursor, and it has a taste. But the one thing in common of the safranol, the crocin, and the picrocin, if I can say, are that they're very high in antioxidants, and the crocin, it helps memory and learning and protects the brain. So those are some of the reasons that it also helps with stress. That those bioactive components do play a role because of that in your central nervous system and your immune system and other bodily systems. So having said that, and what I'm alluding to here is we have taken those 3 components, or not we, but we have identified a technology that has taken those 3 parts of the saffron and made a product called Saffroncide. It's a trademark product. It's a patented product. It has the Iranian saffron, the high quality saffron. They've found a way to encapsulate all these components of the saffron that help give you these health benefits. So that is very exciting. It makes it have 10 times more safranol than the non-encapsulated. If you look at this picture here, you have 2 pictures of the green one with all the different, you see all the different, how do I say, activity here of the components from the saffron because of the encapsulation. And when you don't have the tech extraction here, you don't see very much of that. So you don't want to just take any saffron product. You want to take the one that has the Saffroncide technology, which would be our product, because then you have that encapsulation, and then you're going to get the highest levels of that safranol, the crocins, the picrocin, and the saffromotivines is just it's 25 different health components that also have a health benefit, especially when we're looking at alleviating mood and stress and things like this from those components. So very exciting. The company's from France called Activinicide, and Saffroncide is our patented ingredient. So one thing wonderful about Saffroncide is it has the Academy Award of supplement ingredients awarded to it. There's NutraIngredients is a organization that's known in the trade industry very well. It's known in the trade industry and in the Fortune 500 companies, and it's for having for identifying the best technologies and recognizing the companies that have come up with the best products that promote health in some way. That usually supported by studies, and as is this ingredient as well. The Saffroncide, this technology is supported by many studies. We've taken a few that we're going to talk about, but the Academy Award version, or Oscar Award version that it's won in 2018 in Asia, and in 2021 a finalist as well in Europe for winning the award for being the best technology of those times. So we're very happy to bring that to you. So it's because of its potency that it has this recognition, and because of the studies that support it. And of course, as we're always looking for clean label and things, it has the clean label, it has the kosher, the organic, the vegan, and again, as we mentioned, made in France. So we just took a few of the studies. There are other studies as well that talk about other everything from blood sugar regulation to other things. And there are other studies on mood, but we just gave you the Reader's Digest version, if you will, results of a few of these studies. And they are published on the National Institute of Health, the National Library of Medicine websites, where you can see these studies as well. But one of the studies we looked at a 2-month period of taking 30 milligrams daily of a standardized saffron extract, which is of course saffroncide. And the results of that study showed that participants had significant improvements in mood and social relationships. So very good outcome at 30 milligram a day dosing. And study 2 looked at 2 weeks after taking 30 milligrams again of the saffroncide extract. 77%, so that's more than 3/4 of participants felt happier and more optimistic. 70% of participants noticed an improvement in their emotional state, and more than 2/3 felt more relaxed and calm. So these are very strong numbers to show how it helped participants feel, the effect that it had on them, and how it helped them. So we're very excited to see these studies and that they're published in peer-reviewed journals and on these recognizable websites. So the scientific community also can recognize all of this. So we say, please welcome, drum roll, to Safrino, a complete anti-stress formula. We talked a lot about saffron and all the components. We're going to talk a little bit about one of the vitamin-like substances that's in saffron that works with it. But we want to introduce this to you because it is available now, and we're very excited to have this out. So myo-inositol. Inositol, there are 9 forms of inositol. So looking at that, there's only one that's really has good bioavailability. It actually used to be called vitamin B8 at one time because it functions so much like a B vitamin, helping with communication between the cells, helping with optimal, nerve and brain function. Because of those effects, it works very well with the saffron. So because myo-inositol gently supports the work of the nervous system, and it's part of the cellular membranes as well, components, and has a role in cell function, we wanted that combined with the saffron. So that's why you see myo-inositol listed as one of the ingredients in here. So I did want to make a mention. For a long time it was classified with the B vitamins because it has so much of the same benefits. So Safrino, I should say, you can pronounce it either way. Just 3 ingredients: saffron, myo-inositol, and zinc, because zinc is in the capsule part. We know that zinc helps your immune system. You probably see it a lot in combination with vitamin C and promoted during cold and flu season and things like this. So zinc is another great ingredient, so to use that in the encapsulation process. So when you put all those 3 together, Safrino helps with stress management in your daily life, which we know is important as we went over all those things, how stress impacts us, how it makes us feel. And when you have those feelings in your gut where you've had a fight with someone, or you might feel like your stomach is not feeling right, you don't quite you feel like kind of in a down mood, all those things, we know that that's stress. So we want to help the stress management day to day, or especially during certain periods of time when you really need it. And the Safrino will help promote a feeling of calm and serenity. When we're feeling really intense and excited or angry, it's hard to feel calm and serene. Another thing that the saffron does is it helps us not taking as much cortisol. Cortisol is another hormone that plays a role in stress, but you don't want that constant release. So looking at all those things. And Safrino improves sleep quality as well. So we want to look at, again, your quality of sleep. Generally you want to put all those 3 things together. So we think that that's a great combination. So let's just kind of pull all this together in one summary. So Safrino is a patented extract, right, that has a patented saffroncide. and it's proven to help the body be effective in coping with stress. It's the only encapsulated extract with a maximum concentration of pure safranol, which we know has the antioxidant benefit and the stress relieving benefit. And then, so from the saffron side, the saffron plus the myo-inositol, which enhances the anti-stress effect of the product. And putting all that together, it helps with emotional balance, coping with periodic and chronic stress, improving mood, improving the quality of sleep, alleviating the symptoms of PMS, supporting women's health. So all those things. And again, we don't want that gut feeling when we're feeling stressed. So it helps with the GI tract as well. So we're just so excited to bring this all to you in one product. Just some other notes. It doesn't have gluten or soy or lactose, and it's sugar-free. Just looking at the overall, what the product has to offer. And I also want to show you, well, after we go over the label, I'm going to show you, it's also on the box here, but it's easier to see on my screen here. So each capsule of safranol has myo-inositol, 350 milligrams, which is a good amount. The saffron stigma extract, saffron side, 30 milligrams. Now, again, looking at that, notice that our studies, that was the exact dosage where you noticed an effect, where you saw the effect of how positive that effect that the saffron had, that level had on mood and feeling, all of that. And then the zinc oxide in the capsule shell that we mentioned earlier. So it has all of that. And we have a package of 30 capsules. So one a day for 30 days is what you have here. So it's Safrino. Again, that's a product that we're bringing to you today that we're very excited about for relieving stress and all of those feelings, so that we can feel better and carry out our days better and have less stress and better emotional health. So that is Safrino in a nutshell, available now, available for ordering. And the same thing that I went over about the label is here, which tells you, again, the amount of the patented ingredient, the amount of the stigma extract, saffron side, zinc, and myo-inositol. So let's see, do we have any questions on anything, or comments, or stories you want to share about stress, or anything like that? We have a text box, so there's a choice to do to host and panelists, or to everyone. If you want everyone to be able to see, if you do it to host and panelists, then only I'll see it, and the panelist is assisting. Or
Galina has raised her hand. It looks like she has a question there.
I see. Okay. What time should you take it? I would say take it in the morning to help, throughout the day. It's not exactly telling you what time of day, but I think it's a good start to your day. If that's the time, if you're starting your day in the morning, if you just get a late start, then whenever that time of day is.
Yeah, good morning. Are you hear me?
Yes. Hi.
Yeah, good morning, doctor. My name is Galina Zaltzman. I met you in Orlando.
Yes.
So it was nice to meet you. So my question is, thank you so much for your presentation. It was very helpful. And my question is, if the stress is very strong, so can we take the Safrino the different way, not one capsule per day, or maybe 2 or 3? What do you think?
It won't hurt you to take another capsule or 2. This is the level that there's been a lot of studies done that have the best effect, and it has myo-inositol in it and some other things. And on that one, I mean, if you want to take an extra capsule a day, I would start with that. But I'm not sure that you would need that necessarily, because it really is showing an effect. There was we usually don't talk about studies that involve drugs, but there are studies of this combined with other things that show a really strong effect as well.
Okay.
But this stands on its own pretty well. Those studies that I looked at, that was just with actually only the Safrino, and it worked pretty well. But if the other thing is, depending, there's a difference between stress and controllable stress. If there's medical things, for example, I mean, sometimes it's good to go to a healthcare practitioner to rule out things, depending what's going on with in general. But if the idea is just, you have some stress and you want to see what will help, then I would definitely start with this dose and give it a chance at least, and maybe change, other things if you can, like things we're talking about, taking walks, doing things that help give you some uplift a little bit that way before you start, increasing anything.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for your help.
Thank you for that question.
Great.
It's a very
Thank you.
good question. It's an excellent question.
Thank you.
Excellent question. And that was what made it such a wonderful ingredient to include actually in the Safrino, is because of the studies that supported the technology that was used to encapsulate and really capture all the components of the saffron. And again, sometimes it's what you combine with it. So putting it with some inositol as well. But definitely it's fine to take every day. I would suggest always starting with the recommended dose before increasing, and certainly things do have a ceiling to it. I can tell you taking 2 a day would not be harmful or anything. But I would suggest, just start with the dose as it is. Good question. Very good question. And most of us have stress at some point. Maybe it's not a daily thing, hopefully, but when it is, that's a good time to try this and see. Maybe even keep a journal. Maybe write down how you're feeling and every day, and then after 30 days, let's say, because there's 30 in a box, right? See if there's a difference. See if you feel and notice a difference, because these studies are looking at 30-day periods sometimes, and to see the effect overall. So see also over time if the effect it's having, and we'd be interested to hear your feedback on that too, because this is what this is designed to do, and why we look at these the technologies that we do to try to find the ones that show the studies that support it, and that that have some proof there, or that we can see some effects. So but stress being the issue that it is today, that was definitely one of the things we wanted to address right now. So that's why we came up with this at this time, is what we're introducing.
We had another
Orlando,
hand from Natalia.
Yes.
Natalia, did you want to share your question with us?
Oh, how often? Oh, once a day. If that was a question, how often to take it? Once a day. You have to have 30 pills, so it should last you a month, 30 days. Yeah, that's a good question, though. That's a very good question. I really enjoyed being in Orlando and meeting so many of the distributors. Very, very exciting to see faces and have that opportunity to, I guess, have our first talk about it there. So I really enjoyed that. Maybe since then, some of you have already ordered and tried the product, but we're always love when we can see you face to face as well, of course. Hopefully many more opportunities to present in that way as well. So any comments about stress anyone has, or you'd like to share, or that you have a question about relating to stress? We could look at that too, or the product, whichever questions you have. And of course, later on, if you think of things, sometimes things Um, actually, I think it's good if you could take it with food, because myo-inositol is a vitamin-like substance, and vitamins are absorbed better with food. I would suggest taking it with food. I think it would still have an effect if you didn't, but the food in your system will help with absorption. So I would suggest, yes. It doesn't have to be a lot of something. It could be a small, yogurt or something. It doesn't have to be a full meal. But yeah, I think it would help absorbability a little bit better. Good question too. Also, sometimes things are tolerated better when you have something else in your system, just in general, unless it specifies otherwise, which it doesn't. And of course, hydrate. Never forget that. Stay hydrated, especially if you're doing other things to relieve stress, like getting out there and walking, and have your minerals, of course, your chloramine, and still keep up with all your other great health practices that you've developed, along with using this. Those are all very good questions. Y'all are coming up with some good things. Very good. You can take Safrino with other products. I can't think of any reason that it would be an issue. There's nothing in it that would interfere with any of the ingredient, let's say reactions with ingredients that are in the other products. So certainly, I'd say that depends how you're feeling. Safrino, if you're not feeling stressed and you, at that moment, that week that you're, whichever time period you're doing the detox, perhaps you don't necessarily have to take it, but if you want to try it together, sure. I can't think of any, there's no ingredients in here that should interfere with any product that you would want to take, put it that way. Actually, saffron it supports your immune system. I mean, it has antioxidant effects and alleviates mood and has all those great anti-stress qualities. So you can take it at any time. I mean, it would definitely support it at any time, but especially during periods of stress. I didn't see in the studies adverse reactions or side effects. No, but I would start out with the doses recommended. Definitely. That's the dose that has the effect. So when they see an effect with a product or something in a study, that's the dose they usually go with, because just to limit any chances of side effects. However, I don't think if you took more than one, you would have side effects either. But I would try to stick to the minimum dosage, no more than 2 a day for those of you who feel strongly about that. But I would try to stick, to start with the dosage recommended. That's what was studied, and that was the level that they know didn't have any side effects. Now, if you're doing it in combination with other products and you don't know what, I mean, detox is just a stronger mix of things because it has different functions. So it's harder to tell if you're, it's good to introduce one product at a time, see how it goes, and then add another, just in general. But you can certainly take these products together. I can't think of a reason that you couldn't. Same thing with food. As a dietitian, I can tell you, if you have some kind of let's say a reaction to a food and you're not sure, usually what they do is try one at a time and see what it is. What's caused, not an allergy per se, let's say more of an intolerance. It's kind of the way they do with food and supplements. Some things are similar. And actually, when you think about saffron, it's used in cooking, right? So people are eating it all the time. So it's not one of those things that's, I guess the way to have any issue. It's both a food is as well as a supplement when you think of it like that. So generally we see more positive health things than we do something negative happening. All really great questions, y'all. I have to say y'all being in Texas. Okay. Anything else that you're seeing on your side, Shay?
No, it looks like all of the
All
questions
right.
that we've received have been answered.
Okay. Well, if you think of anything else, again, the product's available for you online. Gosh, I'm trying to think if there's anything else here. I think that's about wraps it up for us here. Go ahead, try it out. I think it will help with stress. I think it will help you, with everyday things as well. We're very excited to have this product, to have this technology brought to you in the form of a capsule that you can take once a day for 30 days. So let us know how it goes once you're on it for a while. Maybe even journal again your feelings and see if you're seeing some difference, mood uplift, and other things. We'd be curious to hear all about your experiences as well. And you could always reach out to us later with any questions too. So again, this is Dr. Cheryl Reifer, Director of Scientific Affairs, Coral Club in North America, talking to you today about stress and about Safrino. And I guess we'll see you next time then.